Hi everybody and welcome back to episode 3 of Tale of Four Gamers Heresy Edition. We've got a lot of stuff. I think it's been about 5 weeks since the last edition of this. We've got a lot of stuff done and we have a lovely new, I don't know which side I'm pointing, I think up there, a lovely new special guest. So we'll get through all of that in just a sec. Hello. Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming back.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, hello. So I should say, as well as the full gang is back again. Russ is back from his holidays. And of course, we have a special guest. We have Oculus Imperia, all the way from Toronto. How are you doing?
I'm doing phenomenal. Thank you so much for having me on. This is a delight. This is an absolute delight.
It's lovely to have you. We've got an exclusive because your face is not usually seen. For anyone who does not know, Oculus, for anyone who doesn't know, how can anyone not know? Oculus Imperia is one of the biggest 40k lore YouTubers, would you say?
By pure subscriber count, maybe I don't know. I don't check everyone else's, thankfully.
I think that's true. I think that is true. Yeah. But yes, long-standing member of the YouTube community, huge 40k lore YouTuber, and has an impressive back catalogue of topics and videos, I think, is fair to say, on YouTube.
Yeah, I think I'm doing episode 127 or something soon. It's been 5 years of about 2 videos a month, if not more. So it's a lot.
Yeah,
a lot.
Quite a few.
So in this episode, we are going to see what Oculus has built. We're going to go through all the games and things we've done in the last month. I don't think we've played many games, but how we've been interacting with the Heresy, because there's been a few new releases. We'll look at our army builds, and then, as always, we will look at the community builds. If you're not sure how that works, then we have a thing we're doing on the Patreon where Patreon members can send us in their photos for basically encouragement, some sort of encouragement to keep us going. I've been finding it really interesting as looking at everyone else doing it is quite encouraging for me as well. If anyone else is getting that, but
yes, absolutely. Knowing other people are struggling with tactical squads is it warms my heart.
One tactical squad, no more in my army.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people talking about the shoulder pads and how they're a bit of a bugger.
Fine.
I haven't got to the shoulder pads yet. Not those ones.
I think they're absolutely fine. I think everyone's whinging over nothing. I'm not even joking. I genuinely think they're fine.
But yes, we'll get into all of our fun building endless tactical squads in a moment. But yeah, so look, I mean, I guess we should say, has anyone played any games this month? I haven't. I've been really busy with work, which is why this is a bit late. Yeah. But
I was really busy with being on holiday. It was really inconvenient and got in the way of actually doing stuff I wanted to do.
The freaking thing about summer, isn't it? Have you managed to get any games in Oculus?
No, I was much the same. Bobbie, for me, takes a dive in summer, which is purely because Canadian winter is horrible and it's wretched, and one of the only delights I have of it is being able to hobby. And when summer comes around, it's gorgeous and sunny and wonderful for 3 months solid, and the last place I want to be is a hobby store basement. No knock on hobby store basements, but I want to be in a park or on the beach. I do not want to be downstairs.
I've only ever visited Toronto in January, February, and all I remember is that there's a thing called freezing rain.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's when the water is already freezing, and when it touches, it immediately forms ice, and it destroys things.
Yeah, I've never been in summer. I'm sure it's lovely, but I've only ever been in January.
I've been to Toronto in the middle of summer. It's a lovely city.
Yeah. Really?
It comes alive in summer. So and that means I'm outside and I'm not doing hobby stuff. So no games yet. I'm hoping fall will bring some though.
But what's your history with Heresy? Did you play the first time round?
I did actually, and I played it with the exact same army that I'm building now. Except I sold that army because boy was I wrong. I was so like a bit of a rundown. My first time with Heresy was spurred on by the local Heresy group, the local Warhammer gaming group being really wonderful and inclusive and enthusiastic and supportive and everything like that. And shout out to the Hogtown 40K Warhammer group for that specifically. I built an Alpha Legion army in the Heresy's first edition. I played some games. I played a really wonderful tournament where my Rewards of Treason Gal Vorbak's squad did absolutely nothing for 5 games.
Oh.
Thanks to 5 horribly executed deep strikes. Yeah, the pain. But then after that, various life things, the immigration, and generally the heresy kind of petering out, seemingly, just prompted me to sell the army so I could focus on other hobby stuff. And yeah, I don't regret it, but I could have saved myself a lot of money if I just kept that thing in storage.
I did a similar thing of like building a load of armies that I thought would be, or starting the process of turning all my 40k armies into heresy armies. And then about halfway through, turning them all back to 40k armies. and then now I'm doing what I planned to do years ago, sometimes with the same bits that have just been sitting there. Like this White Skull army was an army that I was going to build for Old Heresy and just shelved.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the bits for it they're just from then.
Well, at least you didn't sell everything.
No.
I sold the bits.
But now you get to do
that's
a whole Alpha Legion army from scratch.
Yes, absolutely, and it's actually kind of fun doing the same thing again because I get to buff out all the yes, exactly. I get to buff out all the mistakes.
And the other big thing, I guess, that has actually happened since we did the last update is that the Mechanicum books come out that I've had a look at, and that's what I wanted to ask basically. And like, as I don't know if Oculus you're planning on including any Mechanicum stuff, I've got like a vague plan to do something at some point in the future. But I know that Russ, this was a big. Your sort of weird Blackshield stroke robot stroke Iron Warriors plan was. Have you had a look through?
Yeah, I've. You know what? I haven't even read the bit about Knights and Titans.
Yeah,
I've been all through the bits about robots because the robots are what matters. So I got the Mechanicum book as a birthday present from my wife, and she's. Still needs to buy me some models, and I was like, well, I need the book before I can tell you what models I need.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get some either Thalax or Castellax, and eventually I'll get whichever ones she doesn't get me. So at the moment, yeah, my first 1,000 points, I went with Iron Circle robots because they were already in the Liber Astartes book. But my next 500 points will be either a squad of 9 Thalax or a squad of 3 Castellax, and I'm super excited about getting them. And yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to be like the absolute powerhouse on the tabletop. I think that from what everyone is saying on all the YouTube I've watched, that basically Contemptors are going to rule. But you know what? I feel if something is good enough that it can be on a table with a Contemptor, I'm not worried about having the best unit. I want the coolest unit. And I'm sorry, but Iron Circle robots, Iron Circle robots are way
Domitar is almost a Dreadnought, right?
They're way cooler.
Yeah, they are very cool.
That chassis is just perfect.
Oh, it's amazing.
So fun
it's
fact,
a nightmare to build, but it's amazing.
The fun thing about the Mechanicum and me is that last year, in a fit of hobby butterflyness, I did a 2-part series on the Zana incursion and got a load of robots that I painted in Zana colors, being like, well, maybe I'll get back into the Heresy with the Mechanicum since 2.0 is coming up. And then 2.0 came out, and I'm like, actually, I want the
it's all right. You got your army sorted.
Well, sort of. It's a kind of like a half-done Mechanicum army, but it's there in the background, and it just means
it also means you've got a nice allied contingent, so that you can start playing a decent-sized game with however many Alpha Legion you get painted, plus then just throw in a contingent of robots to bring you up to sort of 2,000 or 3,000 points or whatever.
Absolutely true.
But I didn't know. I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but I'm going to mention it now because it's relevant and it's one of my pet theories. And I'm also going to go to this miniature cabinet. One of the things I've been doing is painting loads of pink models up, loads of old Forge World pink models. And
the best thing about you doing this, by the way, is we can see your cool trousers.
Yeah,
you can see my cool trousers.
Yeah.
Very good. Can't really get them up there. Anyway, so Domus, so I noticed in the Mechanicum book, obviously they're moving a lot of things that aren't going to be made to Legends. And there isn't much in the Mechanicum book that's gone. The Macrocarad Explorator's gone and a few weapon options are gone. But interestingly, the Arlatax is still in. And the Arlatax is the evil Domitar, basically. And I am willing to bet that the Arlatax, when it comes out, looks like this guy.
More
Because
sense.
that is a Domitar
yeah.
chassis.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm willing to bet he's gonna look a bit like that. And I think you'll have the same like Blight Drone Voltarax, like, oh look,
Yeah.
it's a version of the same evil flyer. So yes, I'm hoping that I can stick a jump pack on that guy and go, yeah, I've got 2 Arlatax, what's the problem? Yeah, so Mechanicum was interesting, but yeah, you've actually got some plans now then, Russ.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, I'm going to have the Iron Circle, I'm going to have the Thalax, I'm going to have the Castellax, I'm going to have the Vorax. I've got to figure out how to do it in order to make a coherent army out of it. But I'm thinking it's going to be a Praevian to bring my Vorax, the Forge Lord to bring my Thalax. I've already got the Iron Circle via Rewards of Treachery, and then I'll probably take an allied contingent to bring the Castellax as line troops.
Right. How many points are you going to need for that?
That would take me to at least 2,000 points. Like 3 Castellax is most of 500 points. 9 Thalax is most of 500 points. The Vorax are, I think they're 65 points each.
That's right.
So, I mean, it's going to push. I mean, the ultimate aim for this is, for a Heresy army, you want at least 2,000 points up to maybe 3,000 points, don't you? So, I think it's just going to be one of those long-term things, though, that it's like, well, I'll get there one day.
It'll be terrifying in its own Mortalis.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
No reactions, though. The only ones that will be able to react will be the Thalax. Vorax, I'm sure, are automata. Castellax, I know, are definitely automata. The Iron Circle are automata, so it might be, it'd be like my Marines and my Thalax will have to do all my reactions for me, which is, it's not the end of the world, but it means that it's a lot easier to shoot at robots than it is to shoot at a Contemptor, for example.
Because they dumb.
Can you take tech trials as part of that or not?
You could take allies, couldn't you?
Yeah, if I'm taking an allied contingent for the Castellax, I could take the tech tools in an allied contingent. And what I'm trying to remember, they're like 4.5 points each or something, aren't they?
Yeah, they're terrible.
They're
like,
basically fodder.
Yeah, they're quite literally. You plop a blob.
Yeah, they're useless, but they just get in the way. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, so that's an option, but I'd have to think about do I want to sit there and paint enough thralls to be worth having any thralls?
Because that's the thing, right? I mean, and what would you convert them out of? Because there's no way they're like the highest point to price ratio project thing that Forge World sell.
I may have 20 of them sitting at the desk right here.
20, a couple of £100 to get you 20 points of models.
It was a lot. I don't know why I did it. I don't know why. I know why I did it. I did it because previous edition, they were ridiculously tanky for what they actually were.
I have a lot of servitors, many of which I already converted to make them into Medici. Now, I'm trying to remember, though, in this edition, you can't do thralls that have just got close combat weapons, can you? They always come with some sort of crappy rifle, don't they?
The tech thralls only have a laslock and can't change it anymore. So no Mitra locks, no chainsaws.
I wouldn't be able to actually do...
imagine the close combat version is going to be in the Legends PDF, though.
Oh, that's a good possibility, yeah. Yeah, so maybe that will happen in the future.
Yeah, that's definitely a sign that it's not going to be a... they'll probably stay as a resin kit with just the laslocks.
Yeah.
And they just drop the other resin kits because otherwise you'd have all the options, right, in a potential plastic.
I think they probably expect people to just use Scutarii for the conversions because let's be real.
Yeah, totally. Well, look, we sort of segged anyway into I guess what we're going to call what everything else that does this is going to call hobby progress. So let's go through, I guess, what we've been building because there's a lot. Russ, you have had a busy August.
Yeah, I'm still not really painting yet, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's all right, though. I mean, I think a lot of people are building first, then painting.
So I've done a tax squad that's been a little bit of a labour of love in terms of I'm really, really proud of one particular tac marine who I gave bonding studs on his leg and figured out a way to give his leg the Mark V armor power cables. So I'm super proud of him. But overall, I've got a 10-man tactical squad, and 7 of them have got like little bits of other armor other than Mark VI, just with lots of little fiddly conversion work. The idea with them being like, they're my Alpha Legion who have become Blackshields and have basically gone and nicked themselves some Mark VI armor, because that's what Blackshields and Alpha Legion would do either way around. But then obviously they haven't got the parts to keep it running, so they've used their old armor that they stopped wearing to patch up their new armor, and give them a bit of a threadbare appearance.
And then it's the same theory basically for the Terminators, right?
Which, so I'm going to use Indomitus rules for them, but they've got bits of Cataphractii models, Tartaros models, and Indomitus models. They're deliberately thrown together. I think my background for them is kind of like it's kind of a thing that in this little war band, one of their things is they go around hunting Terminators until each of them can build up enough. It's like, hey, dudes, I've got enough armor to wear a Terminator. Don't join the squad, please. And I've got this in my back of my head that each of them back in their locker on their spaceship's got like a locker with like
almost a Terminator suit.
But most of them haven't got enough to wear one. And they're like, if we teamed up, we could have a suit. It's like, yeah, but I'm not giving you my bits. It's off. These are my Terminator bits.
And it's like when Marvel action figures include like a bit of building a Sentinel in like a Professor X kit.
Yeah. When you can swap heads on Star Wars models. What that's like. And then same theory for the Scouts, right? That you basically pulled any set of legs I think you could get anywhere.
So I managed to come up with 5 different pairs of legs so that my Scouts don't look as if they've been equipped from general stores. So 2 of my Scouts have Blood Bowl legs, but they're non-identical Blood Bowl legs. One of them I had to go and buy myself the ammo jack from Forge World.
That is an expensive Scout.
Jack legs.
Russ. An expensive Scout.
Yeah, I know. And I'm kind of broke, and I think we know why. I am going to sell the Dome Runner on eBay to get back half the money.
I love that. That's an expensive Scout. Yes, it is.
I was saying about most expensive model per point. I think that might be getting there.
He's 8 points, 15 quid plus everything. That's just the legs for 15 quid. I've got one whose legs are Pala Knight Enforcer legs, but I hate the little weird tunic thing. So I had to green stuff his little cod piece in there that you can just about see. And that gives me 5 Scouts that all look nothing like each other. Which so the other thing I did, and actually I meant to put my Word document that I did in this Word document, but I basically went away and wrote some rules for veteran Scouts.
Yes, I'll put those in a link below. I did like the relative points costs of veterans and Scouts and blah blah blah, and worked out what I think is a fair points cost for a unit that's like, sneaky veterans, because I think it's a gap in the rules. Actually, I think we've got pretty much everything you could want except good Scouts,
tough as nails Scouts.
Yeah.
So yeah,
right.
And then that, and
it looks like after all that sensible building of normal Space Marines, you've then moved on to robots and got some Tech Marine stuff and some Iron Circles done and.
So I've built the 2 Iron Circles, but I've done the hot water to get the pipes to roughly the right shape.
Right.
But now I need to do a final fit for getting the ammo feeds from their shoulder-mounted scrap cannons, and the shield has like a power cable running to the back. So it's just like that's hopefully not too much work. And I've decided, I went out and giving you an idea of why I have no money, I went out and bought myself this to be my Forge Lord, and then decided actually I prefer this.
The old
Space Marine metal. So I might use the Warpsmith or something else in the future, or I might just put it on eBay as well.
And then finally, you've been adjusting trim length on some. So this is the level we've got to already.
Yeah,
you're adjusting the trim length on Apothecary's legs. You didn't
But
like
it
how his
looks
trousers were hanging.
terrible. But I'm actually really pleased with how it looks now, and
It looks good.
I actually think it makes what I thought was a terrible bottom half of a model actually look pretty decent. And I did it with green stuff and milliput to get a sharper edge.
Yeah.
And I look at it in the photos now, and they're on my screen there, and I look at that now and I think it actually looks like Space Marine legs instead of like someone walking around in board shorts who's going to go skating and he needs to have his trousers not too long so he doesn't get caught up in the wheels or something. It's like it looked awful. It looked so bad.
I've heard that early 2000s fashion was back in, but that's ridiculous. That looks excellent. You should be incredibly proud of that. That's stunningly good sculpting work.
I'm really happy with that. Yeah, I'm so pleased at how well I did there. I mean, I'm blowing my own trumpet, but I was so happy with it when I did it.
It is really good. I've painted one of those and I didn't notice.
But that's what I've been doing anyway. And I've made after I took the photos, I've made most of another scout, most of another apothecary from one of the Mark 6 models in the box because I realised if we're doing Zone Mortalis as our initial plan, then having 5 Nemesis Bolter Scouts will be rubbish, but the same number of points as 2 apothecaries, which will be incredibly useful.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Brilliant. Well, that's
just going to be in the army eventually anyway. So.
That's loads of progress, Russ. That's tons since last month.
No paint, though.
No paint. That's all right. That could be another month.
Yeah. Another month.
Are going to take you a long time as well. So,
Well, no, because I'm just going to paint it all in bright primary colours and then oil wash the crap out of it. So I'm hoping, because my plan is to do a bit of an Ian, paint everything all at once and then just oil wash it.
Yeah.
And it would take about, 12
every
minutes,
Ian?
Solid plan.
Oculus, you're doing Alpha Legion then. We mentioned this earlier. So, did you start this when the new box came out? And why Alpha Legion?
Yeah, I did start it when the new box came out. Like I said earlier, my idea was just like, oh, I'll be special. I'll do Mechanicum for Heresy 2.0. And then the marketing worked on me. Everyone talking about Legions worked on me. I'm just like, no, Space Marines are so cool. So I just was just like, okay, cool. I'll get the box. I'll split it with someone in town, take what I want from it, and then build on that particular core. So Alpha Legion, why? It's difficult to describe. My love for the Alpha Legion is basically as contradictory as they are. Like Warhammer is super gothic and over the top and insane, and the Alpha Legion are none of those things.
No,
they're pretty restrained. They're quite practical, and they generally have a head on their shoulders. So I don't know why it vibes with me that well.
It's weirdly one of the things I really like about the White Scars as well. It's like it's
exactly.
a little bit of stability, a sense in an ocean of madness.
Yeah, and I mean, I think part of the reason I like them is their course throughout the heresies. You take they're not immune, no matter how smart they think they are not immune to literally becoming the Hydra that's devouring its own tail by the end of the heresy. They're just the plans within plans within plans just all collapse, and I kind of love that. Alan Bly's lore in the Heresy Forge World books for them was incredible, and it was one of my most fun videos to write because leaning on that heavily from that diegetic in-universe perspective where it's like, we can't confirm anything about them. We don't know how many there are. We don't even know if they know that they are. This concept of a self-replicating weapon system that has just run out of control. Yeah, it's so cool. It's just so cool.
I was never lucky enough to meet Alan Bly, but what a loss! It's just
I
mean, everyone spoke about him as such a nice guy, but even forgetting that, just the stuff he wrote was just such a huge loss to the whole game. Really,
there's
a true titan of the industry, the genre, the everything.
I've just been rereading that bit of Extermination as well. But for the end of my Heresy series videos for the Alpha Legion one. And one of the things I thought was really fun is that obviously there's all these stories about how the Primarch's found, what happens to Alfarius, and what the stories are. And some of them, he's the first one found. And then and that's given a lot of weight by the fact that his Primarch book, which is written by Mike Brooks, who we were talking about earlier, his the Alpha Legion Primarch book, Head of the Hydra, gives us the story of how he was found, where he was the first one found, which Alan Bly presents as one of many options. But the really important thing that about the Alpha Legion Primarch book is that it's the only Primarch book told in the first person with Alfarius telling you a story, which almost makes clear that it's a lie.
Yes, I mean, but it says it straight out of the gap. It's like everything in this book is a lie.
Yeah.
I'm literally the world's least reliable narrator.
Yeah.
Like that book is incredible.
Beautiful.
Truly, like my non-biased, totally favorite of the Primarch novels in every capacity.
Yeah.
It's so good. If you haven't read it, do.
Yeah.
I haven't read that one actually, but I have got it on my Kindle ready to read.
Yeah, it's great.
It's a delight. It's a delight from start to finish.
And none of it's true.
None of it's true. It's all a lie. Or is it? Or is it not? Well, what I love about that is that like so many people get so deeply frustrated with the Alpha Legions. Like, will they, won't they? What are they? What aren't they? Oh, you'll never know. It's a big spooky secret. They like were pulling their hair out on forums or Discord, just being like, I hate the Alpha Legion. They're dumb. It's
I've got a Wikipedia. I've got a wiki article. I need to actually, factually source what's the proper answer.
Yeah, what's the proper answer? So the point is that there isn't one.
Yeah,
it's like a litmus test for how willing you are to be
to enjoy
how willing
40K.
You are to just be okay with the mystery.
Yeah,
like be looking for the answer, but know you're never going to get it. But the fun is in the question.
Yeah, and it's
the same. It's about what type of movie you like as well. Like some people, they want to watch a TV show and know what's happening at all times. Whereas for me, I'm like, I'm not going to find out what's going on until episode 7. That's amazing. Sign me up. I want to watch it right now.
It's also
it's like seeing a YouTube video that's like the ending of Annihilation explained. When the ending of Annihilation is quite literally of someone saying like, "Oh, so it was an alien," in a way that is like pointing fun at the explained concept. It's like, you missed the point entirely. The point has been missed.
It's also a litmus test for 40K. Like if you really don't like unreliable narrator and not quite knowing what the hell's going on, maybe you're not going to enjoy this.
Yeah. I'm a lore guy. Like it's literally like what I do, and I think that they are the coolest. So
yeah. But you've been building this since June, end of June? When did the box come out?
Yeah. It was around about then. And I think we got it, I think the local store got it about a week or so after it, maybe on Heresy Day.
Yeah.
But most of the stuff that I have built has not actually been from the box. What I built in the box was the rule book and a whole bunch of bits that I've been smashing onto everything. But I think primarily what I started with I was like, okay, get the tactical squad out of the way.
Yeah.
So I took 10 Mark IVs and I took 10 Mark Vs and I threw all the bits together and I made 20 tacticals with as many different combinations of armor marks as possible.
This is the way.
Yeah, this is the way.
That's the way. The tombola method of building Space Marines.
Exactly. But similar to Russ, I had the idea that like I've got an Alpha Legion strike force. The tactical Marines are just kind of like hodgepodging together their armor, and it's only for the more specialized like people within the strike, more specialized Astartes within the strike force that have the armor that they need to get the tools done. It's very meritocratic in a certain type of way.
Very Alpha Legion. You've got some there's some lovely character conversions you've also done here. I don't know. I haven't seen so many Alpha Legion bits. I'm not sure how much of this is Forge World or third party or conversions, but you've got like
it's all Forge Worlds. I spent a stupid amount of money on buying basically every individual character model I could, and kind of just again threw it all in a big pile and saw what I could done with it. It's like first up is like my Legion Armistice is the Praevian body, but with an Alpha Legion head.
That's where that's from.
And a Volkite Culverin, I think it is a Culverin, betraying my lack of knowledge there. Yeah. And then Exodus, which is actually one of the only times I've used the Mark 6 kit, is the Alpha Legion Praetor helmet and bits from the Legion Vigilator kit.
Yes.
This is how much I love Vigilators.
Oh, they're so good. It's such a nice sculpt.
They're just one of my favorite models that Forge World have done. They're so good.
And that helmet is lovely.
The Alpha Legion Praetor helmet it was too good to waste. And I'm just like, okay, here's my little trip down Exodus, walking forward menacingly.
You have realized that Exodus doesn't have unique, and you can have more than one of them in your army, right?
That is so wonderful. Like you could potentially have 2 or 3 Exodai.
Yeah.
Technically, you can only get 2 because he can't be your warlord. But you can get 2 Exodai.
Yeah, Exodii.
Yeah, that's the word, right? Yeah.
And then you've got
which
a
is
huggy guy.
Very fluffy. And then I put together the Saboteur, which is actually the White Scar's Praetor body because it had the kind of kinetic energy that I wanted from it. My idea with the Saboteur is it's got the false colors rule, which means you cannot shoot him until he shoots at you. So this guy, equipped with double lightning claws, is just going to run at something that can't shoot him back until he gets into. That can't shoot him back ever. So he's basically
can charge you, but they can't shoot you.
Yeah. Right. So it's going to be a bit of a gamble to see as whether or not he will be charged or get charged, but he can kind of menace some backline units and with a couple of lightning claws and some melta bombs. So.
And then that's the Vigilator head, isn't it?
It is the Vigilator head. That's where that got used.
Amazing.
Very cool.
And then finally, you've got some heavy support lined up as well. Brilliant. There's a lot of Volkite. I think my army is also very Volkite heavy. I mean, what's the point of playing Heresy otherwise?
Exactly. And this one was like it's just the Mark II kit with guns and shoulder pads. Didn't see any need to do anything else. The Alpha Legion are actually a very fun army that lends itself to uniformity. So I did have the idea of like I'll be plopping my Armistice in with these guys, and they will hopefully just be able to delete every infantry unit that they see.
I also really like how those old long Culverins look kind of like noise marine weapons.
They're so nice.
Yeah,
such a good gun design.
So that's tons of progress, and including actual painting. Is there like a plan for the whole army, or?
Generally, I want to do Headhunter Leviathan.
Right.
I want to make that work because Headhunters were garbage in the first Heresy edition. They were so garbage, but now they're good. Now they've been balanced and their points actually work. And the Headhunter Leviathan list just feels like a really fluffy thing that I could play around with.
Right.
So I want to get like about 10, maybe 15, maybe 20 Headhunters, and then kind of build a more infantry, more dreadnought-based army around that. Idea of getting 3 jet bikes and using them as a suicide units to just pop whatever tanks on in the back. And then I got gifted a Sakaran, so hopefully we will get to see how many turrets I can afford to pop on that. It was a birthday present from a friend, I should say that.
Okay. It wasn't Games Workshop.
That's
nothing promotional. I should be so lucky.
Lore people don't get that.
What's your paint scheme? Is it contrast over metallics, I'm guessing?
Close. My paint scheme is one of the biggest revelations I've made about painting is that like there's army painting and then there's figure painting, and the two things are different. Which is a lesson I wish I learned years ago. But this is army painting. I actually get a rattle can from Tamiya. It's a Tamiya TS50 or T54, TS54, light blue metallic, and that just goes straight out of the can over the whole thing. Then it's a kind of like grooves pin wash with black Abaddon black contrast, or sorry, whatever the black contrast is. And then it's lead belcher metallics. And I've actually experimented with oils for the first time with this, and weathering powders. Two very scary hobby techniques that when you dump them on tactical marines are actually rather fun to play around with and not actually that scary.
No, oils is my go-to precisely because the removal stage is what I use instead of highlighting.
The weathering for me is highlighting, just chipping and dry brushing with some Stormhost silver. That brings it all together. The tactical still took forever. They still took forever, but I was able to like really fine tune the painting process throughout it to like speed it up. So hopefully that means that the rest of the army will come together pretty well. But oils are fun. They were really fun,
and it's coming together
really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, they look really good. I love the powders, like the you've got the Martian bases and just going up the greaves and sort of in the crevices of the elbow armor. It just looks like they've been out on patrol for like 7 weeks without having slept, and that sort of vibe. Really good.
Thank you. It's very much the idea that it's an Alpha Legion strike force that is pretty independent, but that also means that they are banged up. Plus, it's also just fun with Heresy to just dirty the crap out of the army. It's so easy and it's so evocative.
Especially if it's meant to be like a Siege of Terror type army where there's no resupply, there's no like going and cleaning your armor. There's no servitors or thralls to get you out of your armor and back into it and polish it. You're just fighting until you die.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the plot of every Siege of Terror book right now.
Mhm.
I'm going to just do a whole army of just grey Marines caked in dust to fit Echoes of Eternity. That's
I'm loving
brilliant.
every second of Echoes of Eternity, but that's basically the plot. Is really dusty.
I feel dusty after reading that book. That's
Go
brilliant.
ham with weathering powders. You could just take every weathering powder you have and dump it on a marine. And
Don't
be
bother
like,
with paint,
just seal that up there, and there we go. Siege of
dipping,
Terra.
but with weathering powders.
Yeah.
Like a snowman. No, brilliant. That's incredible progress for a couple of months. They look amazing, Oculus. Looks like a lovely army. Well done.
Thank you. Looking forward to seeing how it actually plays on the table.
Yeah, I think all of us are in that. Bobbie, so after all that talk of grimy weathering,
Yes.
how's
I haven't got to
how are your
my
lovely
models yet.
yellow Marines?
Very bright yellow Marines, yeah. I mean, I've done a lot of building since last we spoke. I've managed to put together a Contemptor and sort of a second Contemptor, although it's more basing material.
I really
Some
like
feet.
that. Actually, yeah.
That's a lot of base.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for my Leviathan Dreadnought, I have actually worked on more of the Leviathan, but I'm still trying to get the pose perfect.
Yeah.
So it's mostly getting held together with blue tack rather than glue.
And then you started on you started on a Rhino. You're the only one of us who started building a vehicle.
I've got a Rhino mostly done. I've not done the gun turret, like the gun hatches for it, but I've got I want to get the second hatch sprue from my Spartan and maybe do like a gunner that I can swap out.
Yep.
So I can have like a heavy bolter or a multi-mel to have options rather than having to run it same all the time.
It's all about the Havocs, I think. Havoc launcher is great.
Yeah, the Havoc launchers are tempting. I've also not put the exhausts on because I think I'm going to 3D print some. I've got some that I designed up to look more like the second edition Rhino to make it look even more like that Rhino. But we'll see how that goes. I've still got the plastic ones in case I want to, if my 3D prints don't come out nicely.
Yeah. And then the Forge Lord. So the Forge Lord looks like a ridiculous conversion. What is going on with the chest?
So the Forge Lord is mostly just the Space Wolves Iron Priest from 40k.
Right.
But I took the original chest piece I took off and just stuck a Mark III chest piece from the tactical kit.
Yeah.
And then sculpted the cross braces using the method that Russ came up with.
I see. The one he's used for the Mark V legs, which you've also done.
Yeah. I wanted it to look like a real Artificer set. He's got these really fancy skinny legs that are all hammer marked, but then it's obviously had to be retrofitted and beefed up for fighting in the siege.
Amazing. Are you gonna? So I also like the use of the old Chaos Plasma pistol.
Yeah, the plasma pistol is the Frost pistol from the original model, but then trimmed down to have the Khorne Berserker plasma pistol because they both had the same sort of lots of little pipes attached to them.
I thought I recognized that.
Yeah.
That's wicked.
Yeah.
And then obviously it's the
Oh, I see what's happened there. Now that you've said it, I've realised what's happened there. Yeah. Oh God, that's a lot of fiddly cutting and sticking.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
How many cuts did you end up inflicting on yourself with this?
Oh no, this is the thing. I've got quite good. I've been doing it for a while. This cutting plastic when it was cutting about lead models where you're doing like 5 or 6 different parts to make one model. That's when you get injuries.
This is masterful. Like that's some artisan work right there. I'm in awe.
And you've carried on through characters. So we've got a Praetor, which is the
the one that you got me, the resin Forge World Tartaros Praetor. I haven't done that much on him. The actual model's pretty much as is. I've changed the Iron Halo on the top for a different plastic one. The big thing I did on him was I've magnetized both the hands, so I can give him a combi bolter or a paragon blade instead of the storm shield or
Where's
hammer.
that head from?
Blade Guard veterans, I want to say.
Oh, okay.
Quite a few of these have
That's
the
a
heads from the
great
new
face.
Primaris kits. Yeah, a lot of the new Primaris heads are really, really nicely sculpted. So
I've got some
them.
Primaris heads in my army as well. Yeah, they have some fantastic expressions on them.
And with the new slightly
a
bigger
little bit-
Marines, they kind of fit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And this one
chainsaw.
specifically is wonderfully Imperial fistsome.
It looks like Rogal Dawn, doesn't it?
He has a very square head, which is why he's not wearing the helmet, because his head's too square for the round helmet to put on.
He looks like a Chainsaw Warrior. You should definitely call him Steve.
Steve. Okay.
And then you started with.
Hang on. If his hands are magnetized, you've got to give him a Chainsaw Warrior arm. Like you've got to give him a chainsaw option magnetized as well.
Yeah, that's
It's
true. I don't know if
bolt
you
gun and
have it.
chainsaw.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's a legal loadout, but we'll see about the different versions.
Anyway,
IP crossing over there.
call it a chain fist.
Like Steve. Yeah, chain fist and work. And then you've started doing some actual troops. I'm really liking how the Templars are coming on.
I've got missile launcher squad that I built as well, but they're just basically just 10 guys with missile launchers. So that didn't take too long.
I love that missile launcher. Great.
Yeah, the old one.
I did make the mistake of sticking the missile launchers onto the shoulder pads and then realised, oh no, I can't put transfers on without cutting the transfers. I should have attached the missile launchers afterwards. So if you haven't done this mistake yet, stick your missile launchers on after you've painted your figures.
Yep.
And just transfers aren't a big enough pain.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
carving the
exactly.
top couple of mil off of each transfer to slot it under the missile launcher is.
It's going to be a real fiddly job.
And then I'm really enjoying watching these come along. These Templars, the
Plague Marine.
The Plague
Templars,
Marines.
Yeah, I've got quite far with painting them. There's still so much to do to try and make them stand out. The black's still a bit flat.
Yeah,
I need to do some highlighting.
Is it like
on
checks or something like that? That presumably.
There's going to be quite a lot of honor markings and transfers added to them, and I want to add those and then do battle damage on the top, because obviously you want the battle damage over the markings as well.
What are you?
Sorry, go on.
What are you going to do for the basing? I'm trying to work out what they're going to look like once they're based.
So it's going to be sort of brown and grey rubbly piles is what I'm doing for basing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I haven't decided what colour rim I'm doing on the base, if I'm doing a brown rim or if I'm doing a grey rim. I'm not doing black because I don't like black rim bases. I know that's controversial.
Grey rim. I'm always in the grey rim gang.
The grey bit is what I've been doing on my 40k stuff, so I might do it on these as well. We'll see.
Nothing to be said for a goblin green base in 2022.
Well, I have just done a whole Nova Marines army in 2nd edition Goblin Green bases, which and I'm having a bit of a 2nd edition kick, but I don't think it's going to quite suit this army.
That was so fun doing our Lamenters v Nova Marines game. Bring Out Your Lead, just because it was both two really old 2nd edition lead models and plastic from the actual original box. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, really good game as well.
And then you've got you've got a Fafnir Ran, which is almost finished, just basing, or.
Oh no, there's still so much more painting on him. Like with the Templars, I decided to do this wet blending power weapon thing, and that's on the Templars. It's okay that they look a bit rough because there's squad of 10 and no one's looking that close. But for Fafnir, I still need to do a lot of work on him. But he's getting there. I want to have another go at his face because faces are always difficult.
And then, but it seems to have worked out quite well on Brother Craven. So what's he?
Brother Craven this is the model I showed off last time, if people are following along. It's a recreation of one of the Rogue Trader Mark Copleston's sculpts, but using the new plastics and just copying the detail across, and I 3D printed some custom parts for him as well.
That's amazing. That is, again, absolutely tons of progress, including actual painting. Yeah. Well done.
He's just going to be the sergeant for my tactical squad because I wanted something a bit different for that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I think we're all getting to the stage where we're like, we sort of know what we're doing now, so it's all progressing a bit faster.
I am sort of getting to the point where a lot of my squads, I've kind of built the easy squads, and now I've got things like my breaches and phalanx warders. I was kind of hoping at the Nova Open we were going to see, in the preview there, we were going to see either an assault squad or breaches or another squad we need in plastic, but that didn't happen. So I'm going to have to look at 3D printing or maybe resin casting because I need 30 breach shields, and I can't afford to buy 30 breach shields brand new. So and I need a bunch of power axes. I've already done some 3D designs, but I need to actually do the really hard work of running a 3D printer because it's not quite as easy as people make out.
I'll be honest,
it's a lot of mess and trial and error to actually get parts to come out how you want.
No, that's brilliant progress, Bobbie. It's amazing. So, yeah, I mean, I say we're all getting into the swing of things. Gary, how's the Space Force coming along?
I've just done painting, that's all.
You've done loads of painting. You've got more painted than we have.
Right, well, so I've painted both of the Scout squads that I made up last month, and that's pretty much it. I've still not done anything from the actual Horus Heresy box. It's sitting there taunting me like everything's still pristine on sprue. But yeah, I wanted to get the Scouts finished. I'm quite happy with how they've all turned out. I've got 10 bolters painted and 10 with the Nemesis bolters.
Yeah. And they're all ginger.
Yeah, that is... they dye their hair for the Allfather.
All right.
I assumed it was a gene seed thing that,
It's kind of a berserker thing, isn't it?
Like a Slayer thing.
It's a phenomenal choice because that color pops so beautifully. Like it just jumps right out in the best possible way from these guys. Like they look phenomenal.
I'd be lying if I didn't say it was also laziness because when you've got one color of the whole mixing in some brown.
That's why none of my Alpha Legion will ever have bare heads. I'm not painting faces.
Yeah.
Plus they're spooky and secret.
That's true. Yeah.
This is one of my White Skulls things. Like a few of them are they have now got heads, and I'm like, I just want as few as possible so that I don't have to paint faces.
Yeah.
But no, these look amazing. You've also got the Fenrisian wolves done. So does that mean you're at the point where, with like a character, you would have a functioning army?
Well, yeah, that's 2 units. I need one HQ, and I've got 2 units on a HQ, I guess.
Yeah.
About 450 points.
Yeah, it's not a lot of points.
And actually, hold on, are none of them troops?
The troops are not compulsory troops.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Scouts are lying.
They're not compulsory. I don't think they're support,
They're support squads, aren't they?
Okay, so I don't. No, I'm far away from.
Scouts are not line. Reconnaissance squads are line, but scouts aren't. Because I was looking at this because I realised I have enough models to do an army that's just made of scout squads. If that was elite, well, I could do it with a recon company, and then I thought to myself, but then I'd have literally not a single line unit.
Oh, but there probably is a right of war for that, right? You could just do is there a scout company right
You
of war?
can make recon and scout squads compulsory, I think, but the recon the recon company right of war doesn't make them line still,
which is about objectives. So you could field it if you put a praetor in and took the recon company right of war. You would have an army that you can field.
Yeah,
painted.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I've got the Praetor that you bought me. He's in Terminator armor. He's going with the Terminators. I don't have a legal army as yet.
Looking good, though. Looking good. What's next?
I kept saying I would do all the trips before I move over to vehicles and fun stuff, but I might do something more fun next. I'm not sure. Cool. Yeah, go do the Spartan maybe, or I don't know.
Brilliant. Well, great
idea of bikes.
Bikes.
Yeah. Swift. I don't know what they're called in 40k.
Swift claws, but I guess they're just bikers, aren't they?
Yeah. So I quite like the idea of building a squad of those. Yeah. Maybe get the scout version. Have a whole army of scouts for us.
Yeah. I mean, the it's called the Spather Attack Bike Squadron, isn't it, nowadays? And they're just Marines on bikes. You could totally use them as do scout ones. Just have a better save because they're on a bike.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. Brilliant. And you're waiting on the Forge World shoulder pads. Yeah, because it's only the weird head. The dog heads are out, aren't they?
Yeah, so I quite like the wolf heads, but I won't do more than one pack of 10 and sprinkle them in. Or it could be one squad that all 10 of them have it. I quite like. And I've got quite a lot of those heads from 40k, so
You can,
those heads would be fine for 40k. They just look ludicrous for Heresy. As an actual head, it's fine.
You see
It's just
them
not Heresy.
on like some squads, like what are the anti-psyker squad? Nullifactors or
Also, there'd be a really
like
good
that,
way
cool.
to differentiate tactical squads from what they called Grey Slayer squads.
Okay, yeah. And the 40k ones, the only thing that really gives them away is they've got this sort of Mark 7 or 8 sort of stripe on the head.
Yeah.
Like the fin. So if I scrape that off, they'd go quite well with those as a more butch version of the Forge World one. So having 2 in the same squad would be cool. I quite like those helmets. I know they've got a lot of bad press, but I quite like them.
The helmet is not bad. It just doesn't look like the books depict the Volker Fenrica. It's just they're space Vikings, not Wolfie Wolves.
But unfortunately, the Space Wolf line is not blessed with the best sculpts in the Horus Heresy range.
No,
those masks
I quite
are not
like the
great.
ones that some people have described as the banana Terminators. I actually quite like them, though.
That's because their fur's
I
really
actually
thick,
quite
right?
like them.
It's crazy. With all the Forge World stuff, everything seemed to be a hit. And then when the Space Wolf ones came out, it was like, oh, no. Like at some point, their luck ran out. It was almost every other release that came up, I was going, I'm changing Legion. It's just, like the Dark Angel ones look fantastic. The Emperor's Children ones look fantastic. And it's like, right. And they all really fitted the Horus Heresy. I think these ones were just a bit of a miss, swing and a miss for fitting the Heresy.
Yeah, with 18 legions to work with, it's kind of like, I suppose you might have one miss, but yeah, that one, you're right, that one just did clang a bit compared to everything else.
But I think it's still a nice helmet. It's a nice helmet. It just doesn't have the sort of Civil War of a Horus Heresy vibe to it. It's
like the original one of those. Also, it's like it feels like the sort of artwork that you put on a commander, but maybe it feels a bit weird when there's 10 of them. But yeah.
But they already hit it out of the park with the skull masks of Wolf Priests. And what's that squad that they've got with everybody wears a skull mask?
Deathsworn.
Yeah, the Deathsworn. They're amazing. So they could have just done something similar to that. And everybody would have been, yes, give me more wolf skull faces.
Well, you've got a few months before those are out, but yeah. Otherwise, well done, good progress. I'm going to move on to me then, and then we can look at everybody else's quickly and see what they've been doing. My one's pretty fast, to be honest. I've been doing my White Scars. I've got my initial batch of normal infantry done. So yeah, there's 50 models. I assembled all the Mark 6 I had. I've got a Volkite Culverin squad, a Volkite Charger squad, and one single solitary tactical squad. No more than that. Don't need any more than that. Chain blades. Gave some of their sergeants some like cool second Mark II White Spar bits. And then I made a Pathfinder squad out of the same Pathfinder squad that injured me the other month. I finished. They're made out of Mark 6 with sniper rifles. And then I assembled some, because I said I'm going to do this like White Scars Void Army. And I really like the idea of, as well as doing the bike bit of it, also doing this like heavy infantry, old Terran veterans, like White Scar thing. So I assembled some breaches, essentially out of spare parts, like some Mark II kits, some 3D printed shoulder pads, old Volkite calibers, because breaches can have Volkite calibers. Volkite chargers, sorry. And some White Scars heads. So they're in there. And then I did the Falcon's Claws, because we said we were doing like Scout Month, like it was
Yeah.
Bake Off.
Like a thing.
Like a Bake Off. And so, yeah, I've done a squad of Falcon's Claws, which never got made. They're the legendary unit. They're White Scars Scouts with double lightning claws. I tried a few different things for these. I tried sticking Tartaros claws onto their arms. That didn't look great. And then I found someone who had made some scout arms, and we're just giving them away on as a 3D model, specifically for this reason. And it took me a little while to figure out what resolution to print them at that wouldn't just break the minute they were finished and dry. But yeah, they're done. And they kind of, you're limited by, because it's the cloaked scouts, you're kind of limited by where their arms are already, like, which way their arms are already that posed to hold a sniper rifle, which does mean a lot of them look like they want a hug.
They want a hug to console them for the fact they can't get their bolt pistols out of the holster.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, I don't know how they use any of this.
Every time they try, they just slice the holster off.
Yeah, they can get it out once, and that's freaking it. Yeah, so I've done those, and then I managed to.
I really like that squad. Space Wolves can't have that, right? That is unique.
That is a unique White Scar thing. They're not even scouts, so they're outflank. They can't infiltrate. They only come in from the side. They can have a bird, which is a White Scar thing, and yeah, they have 2 lightning claws each. So they're like a little.
You can't have them, Gary, but Oculus and I can have them.
Oh yeah, you could
right.
with your fancy fake Alpha Legion ones. Yeah. So yeah, and then I basically sprayed them all. So everything's got sprayed bone, which is how I'm starting my White Scars. Bone, then they'll get Corex White on top. Except for the Pathfinders, who are going to be done in the old pre-Heresy camo scheme that's in the White Scars bit, which is like grey with white and black stripes, because you've got to like that, haven't you? But yeah,
we love
that's
the
it.
Star Hunters.
Huh?
We love the Star Hunters.
That's it. Yeah, the old Star Hunters example scheme, the Mark III Star Hunter. So what I'm going to do the Pathfinder. I keep saying I'm calling them Pathfinders, Recon Marines, like that, and I'm going to do the cloaks of the Scouts like that.
Pathfinder's the console, isn't it?
Pathfinder's the console version.
Yeah. Which would be actually quite cool to have with them as well.
It would.
To lead them in.
I haven't got to characters. I've got a big box of spares. And I think I'm going to get all the models done, all the bikers done, and then basically the box of spares will become the character box. And I'll see how many consoles I can build.
Build them all.
But yes, well...
The excuses to build another console, like, don't give me any more excuses. To do that, where it's just like, oh, here you go. Here's a dozen of the most characterful possible models you could convert.
I think I've got 4 already for my Imperial Fists, and I haven't built anything like a librarian or a chaplain or anything like that.
I'm really looking forward to doing mine. In the Space Wolves, the consoles are kind of like what make the army, I think.
Yeah.
Like that. That's kind of what sells it.
You get quite a few unique ones for the Space Wolves, don't you?
It's just wolf versions of everybody else's, to be honest.
In true Space Wolf fashion.
Yeah. Sticking to the formula. Brilliant.
One thing I'm getting quite sad because I only bought the Liber Hereticus book. I didn't buy the Loyalist Army book. And there's a huge part of me. I just want to sit there and read each of the chapters' stuff. Because like the Raven Guard, I've always been a big fan of. So I've got an old RTB Raven Guard army, but also I want to have a good look at the Imperial Fist stuff and the Space Wolf stuff and the White Scars stuff. And I just feel like I'm missing out on a big chunk because I've only got one of the 2 books. Borrow
mine. I'm definitely going to be using the PDFs the minute that I get around to it because I hate
They're heavy books.
Yeah. Have a look at mine. But yeah, no, so that's, tons of hobby progress, but we are not the only people who have done hobby progress. You have been sending in your photos. We have, I think, 26 people sent in something this month. So we will briefly, I might have to pile a few in at the end here, but we'll briefly have a look through these. Thank you so much for sending things in. Thank you for making my life easier by putting your names on them and formatting them nicely. Makes my life a bit quicker. But yeah, so let's have a look at the community options. So I've mixed up the order of events. First up, we have Orfeo, and this is the 86th Loyalist Night Lords. He's finished a Terror Squad and a Rhino and some senior ranking officers. Is that a Black Emperor's Champion?
Yes, it is.
And it's a Primaris one, I think.
Ooh.
Looks really cool, though, with that nasty, spiky
glaive thing?
type blade thing, yeah.
Is that a chain glaive?
I think it might... It's not a chain, is it?
It's edge on. I think the chain blades like edge onto the photo.
Yeah, and that's a Master of Executions next to him as well.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
Those are two perfect choices. The pose on that photo is just sublime.
Yeah, and
the Emperor's Champion's got so much flat armor space to do the three-hand lightning detail. It looks really nice.
Also, 40k choices suddenly, obviously, are a great choice for Night Lords because they're covered in skulls already.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got David's Alpha Legion. So he's done really well. He had 5 things last time, and he's gone up from 5. It says he's gone up from 5 Althariuses to 33. He's also, Gary, you were mentioning the Green Stuff World metallic colours. He's been doing these with the Green Stuff World Siren Scale Green and Aqua Turquoise. And then a bit of a Kalian Green. Is that, were you using that? The Green Stuff? You were using those like colour shift paints, right?
Yeah. So I've used Green Stuff Worlds ones before. I'm just trying to recognise which ones it might be. Looking at the photo,
this turquoise is just gorgeous.
It's lovely, isn't it? And there's I like the classic models at the front there. There's like a Imperial Space Marine.
Yeah. Storm Surge Green, is it?
Yeah.
I'm trying to look at the box and work out from the box that I've never opened.
This is another thing I just love about the Alpha Legion, in that like a lot of other armies might struggle with how do I put a unique twist on their color scheme?
Yeah.
And with the Alpha Legion, it's like they can be anywhere between blue and green or purple.
Or like silver or bronze or something like that. Yeah. You can do whatever you want. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've just got to say the use of the second edition. Well, I think actually it was originally released in Rogue Trader.
Yeah.
The Terminator on as captain. I absolutely adore that model. I've got one of them in my Mentor Legion army. It's one of my all-time. It's possibly my favorite ever Space Marine model.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it?
I've got one the best Space Marine, but my favourite Space Marine model.
It's iconic.
I've got one I'm saving for my when I do a second edition army project. But yeah. Next up, we have Ed from Hate. It's Ed from Hate and his Death Guard.
Hey.
He had like 2 models last time, and now we see where he was going with it because he's doing a proper old school army.
That Dusk Raiders color scheme is
Raiders, yeah, that's the one, yeah.
Yeah, Dusk Raiders color scheme is Death Guard, so Loyalist Death Guard. I really like these boxy rhinos, the old Predators.
I don't like those ones. I prefer the dome-headed ones. But I love that Dreadnought. I absolutely adore those. Can't remember who it is that actually printed them, but some of them.
I think that's the fan sculpt one.
It is a fan sculpt one, but I absolutely adore it.
Troll Soup, I believe is.
Is it Troll? Yeah. Of course it is. It's Troll Soup, of course, yeah.
And it's so good.
Some lovely robots.
That's the same one that the Saturn Terminators.
No,
I don't remember.
I think a few people have got the Saturnine Terminators.
The best thing is, well, we get to play against this because he's in our club.
So minor quibble about the Saturnine Terminator pattern of armor. It was never actually called the Saturnine pattern Terminator armor. If anything, it's the Vulcan or Nocturne pattern.
Yeah.
That's it's the lore.
Who invited this guy? Come on.
No, I was thinking the same thing. Like there was a thing called Saturnine Terminators.
Actually,
and there was a thing called that armor, and no one has ever linked the two. Anyway, keep going. We've got Stuart here with his Dark Angels. So he's been doing some Grimdark Dark Angels. They're looking brilliant. Bit of matte varnish clouding, which I think is a summer problem.
That's such a crying shame when you've done such a good job with the paint job, and then the varnish just screws out.
But you can fix that with
olive oil.
Can't you fix it with olive oil? I've heard.
Apparently, but I don't know if I want to try it.
I've done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keeping on the same Dark Angels theme, though.
Spraying with gloss varnish and then going back to matte works as well.
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
That's quite good. Keeping on the same Dark Angels theme, Davide has also done some Dark Angels. So you remember last time he was trying to do Word Bearers and Dark Angels, and has this time done a bit of love on the actual Dark Angels. So Interemptors, which means Dreadwing, right?
If you say so.
guys, yeah.
Yeah, Dreadwing.
So yeah, played a couple of games. We were talking about this earlier. Getting a Dreadnought next because they're very good.
You know what I love about the two Dark Angels? I just love when Dark Angels were black. I mean, Dark Angels in green, it's a bit newfangled, isn't it? But both of these guys have done really fantastic looking black with the red detailing. And what I absolutely love to see is a bit of checker pattern there.
Yeah, also is that the Cleany sword from one of the Primaris models?
I was going to
Blade
say,
Guard again.
Yeah.
The use of that sword model is just perfect.
Lovely, isn't it?
It's so characterful for this conversion.
Arsa, I'm pretty sure I'm pronounced that correctly. They've been doing some, so their new entry, they weren't here last time. They've been doing some Praetors from the Age of Darkness box. I like this, evidently just gone, right, whole box is now World Eaters. And World Eaters are always like orcs, really, to convert, aren't they? They just put more spikes and more bloody bits on them.
And then go.
I was just going to say.
With your blood, with your Tamia Red or your Blood for the Blood God.
Yeah. They're looking brilliant. I like the massive mace.
That smear of blood on the chest plate.
Super brutal.
Those are great. Those are great. And then William is also doing Death Guard. So William's almost got 1,000 points. Heavy support squad at the back there that need mucking up. Yeah, God, you can see the difference, can't you? That's the pre-weathering Death Guard at the back there with the missile launchers.
That, everyone, is the power of weathering right there.
Yeah.
That is the sheer power this technique has.
But they're pushing on because they've got to get 1,500 points done by the end of October. Then we're on to Sam. So Sam is another club member. He was doing these amazing Sons of Horus last time. If you remember, these are the ones, I think he'd done 5 different test paint schemes that all just looked like an easily weathered normal squad. So whichever one he picked, they look great. He also, we should mention, he was saying our club did a little mini Heresy intro weekend the other week, but I was stuck working making Space Raccoons, so I couldn't go. Couldn't do it. Everyone was waiting. It's probably doing summer, isn't it? So big update here. Macariel.
So well weathered. Sam's so well weathered.
Oh, these ones, yeah. Especially the guy on the pole, the guy on the tube there.
Yeah. Like on a surfboard thing. It's such good balance.
He's a space marine. Of course, he's got good balance. I'm just surprised that the 3-ton man standing on the pipe isn't crushing it.
It's actually his battlefield transport. He just rolls around on it the entire time.
The surfboard.
It's like log rolling or something.
That's what we need. Macariel has done some white. So Macariel's mostly done assembly. There's a lot of white scars here. The amount of guns on that Land Raider from that position is ridiculous. That Spartan.
Yeah.
It really highlights just how many guns that thing has.
You can definitely bring a las cannon or 2 on that vehicle.
Yeah.
As a treat.
And actual bikes, like normal actual Space Marine bikes, which I always like. With the old, the old White Scar Khan Commander conversion set there.
But also those Nemesis bolters for the Recon Marines look really good.
Yeah, they look brilliant.
I also want to just say that old school White Scar Khan on bike model, I love that can be included.
Yeah. So that's going to go on a scimitar in my one.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Great choice.
Lovely.
So then we've got some Night Lords from Colorblind. So they were doing a load of old rhinos last time. But this time seem to have really progressed. These look lovely. I really like the ultra simple dark theme here.
The crispness of these models is just spectacular. Just how clean they are and how sharply all those reds pop, as well as just the bleached bone.
Yeah,
wonderful work.
It does that heresy thing. Go ahead.
But they.
The amount of bone trophies that they're carrying already. I'm guessing these aren't going to be loyalists.
You never know.
But they just, in the photo as well, they just look like they're emerging from the dark, and they look really terrifying. They look as if they're coming out of the darkness at you, and you're going to be like, oh crap, turn around and run away.
They've also did that Heresy thing really well of just not doing any of the bling that 40k does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really simple. Going on, Zach is doing Iron Hands. So Zach didn't know what Legion they were doing last time. Landed on doing Iron Hands, but Iron Hands after the drop site massacre, so they can all be spooky ghost marines.
Yay! This is such a good concept. Especially because in the actual lore, a whole bunch of Iron Hands just ended up getting cybernetically resurrected anyway. There's just dead Iron Hands wandering. Yeah. You had like these warbands of literally dead Iron Hands just kept alive through Dark Age tech. So like that plus the Legion of the Damned concept. Oh, wonderful execution.
Lovely idea. It's a lovely idea. So that's Zach's idea. And then the flip side of that, of course, Iron Warriors. So Jack has got his Kratos done. My God, that is a battering ram.
It's so nice. Like the grime on this model looks so nice. It really brings out all the different panels and just love it.
Even the fact that like they've taken the time to block in the little panels on the front parts of the treads over the hazard striping, just giving it that extra level of immersion. Like I have nothing but respect for Iron Warriors players who will take the time to do that hazard striping right and then weather the hell out of it. You guys have my respect. This is beautiful, superb piece.
It is very tastefully done because sometimes you see a bit too much chevron.
Yeah.
That tank as well looks like it would weigh a lot. It doesn't. It looks like it's made of metal. It doesn't look like it would weigh what it would from plastic or resin if you picked it up. It looks like you'd have to pick it up like this.
Yeah, it looks like it almost weighs as much as a resin tank.
So next up is Alex. He's doing Imperial Fists, very lemony Imperial Fists at the moment. They're nice. They're really, really bright. I like how the shoulder pads transfers stand out. Or transfers or molded ones, I'm not sure.
They look like transfers to me.
And then Legion...
They still look very RTBO1-ish.
They do, don't they?
That's used there, yeah.
And then the built some Sword Brethren using some Templar Brethren, sorry. Using the Prospero Burns Mark IIIs and some printed bits, which all look very good.
Mm-hmm.
So we're still in. There's a lot of iron. We didn't have many Iron Hands last time, and they've all shown up now. K's Iron Hands. So helping rectify our dearth of Iron Hands. Leviathan Dreadnought. They say I'm planning on fitting lights to all my vehicles and characters as it compensates for my middling at best painting.
The glowing eyes and claws are very, very cool.
They're really
the claws
nice.
are so cool. They're so cool.
Yeah.
I started looking at the picture before I read it, and I was like, "Is that LEDs?" Yeah, it looks amazing.
Beautiful. It's
But
beautiful.
I love that the hand and the cog are not just a plain block of color; they're actually blocked in with the varying colors within that hand and the cog. I like that.
It's nice. It's nice. Back again, we're just on this theme now. Kieran's also got Iron Warriors. So the 211th Garrison Company of Blackshield Iron Warriors starting to embrace malice. The 2 units done. Legionnaires with chain bayonets and some Iron Havocs. Autocannons, which autocannons always feel like a really Iron Warriors thing because it was what the Iron Warrior had in the book, in the last codex.
That one piece of artwork.
And that one bit, yeah.
Love that. I love these. I love how grimy and beaten up like this particular unit is, and I've got a particular shout out to how well that red as that color pops.
That's what I was thinking.
I feel like you can because of their metallics, you can kind of do a whole bunch of eye color choices for the Iron Warriors, but this red is just superb. Great choice.
So
also, snow bases are normally shit. These ones are really good. Like most snow bases are terrible. These are brilliant.
I think we saw some from this contributor last time, and we mentioned the bases, but I didn't notice the skulls. They've gone and split the skull black and white, half and half on the Iron Warrior skull because that's to do with malice,
clever.
isn't it?
Yeah. So Mal is basically a 40k version of Malal.
Yes, that's right.
They're the same thing, but yeah.
So it's basically the god of fuck chaos.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Chaos god of anti-chaos.
Yeah, which is Iron Warrior. Yeah, as you say, makes sense for Iron Warriors.
Yeah, the skull logo on the shoulder is fantastic. Yeah.
Moving on, in at number 16 at this point, Mega Slippers is doing Space Wolves. So they've done basically just a huge upgrade, really, update on things. 20 Space Marines, 20 Tactical Marines, and then started sculpting fur on some regular Cataphracti, presumably to bring them in line with the Varangier.
Nothing but props to people who want to sculpt fur onto a whole unit.
Yep. We've all been there a bit in the last few months.
True dedication.
So, a couple of
fantastic, great.
Two different Wills doing two different Raven Guard here. So first up is Will, and they've been doing some Raven Guard except for the heads. They've left some heads spare, which is a nice idea actually, just for the waiting for the upgrade kit.
Good call.
I'm seeing no shoulder pads either, so I'm guessing waiting for the sculpted shoulder pads, which is very sensible.
I appreciate the initiative of someone who's going to go ahead and paint up an entire unit rather than waiting for the pieces, because I will absolutely always wait for that one little conversion.
Yeah, I'm not doing transfers. So I'm beyond that, so I agree with this.
Just get them painted so you can use them. That,
cool there. So.
That way, when they're out, it's like a quick job.
Yeah.
And then following Will is Will, who's doing Raven Guard. I really like this. So they've done this is a very different Raven Guard scheme. It's interesting to see them together because this is a lot flatter and sort of grayer. I like the little Alpha Legion Infiltrator, which is, a lot of Raven Guard. Can't trust the Raven Guard anymore.
I love the Alpha Legion Infiltrator, quite obviously. One thing I got to say about this scheme, though, is the dustiness is... I don't know how that effect was achieved, but it is superbly pulled off.
Nice, isn't it?
And very much in keeping with old Terran Raven Guard lore, which is a lovely little nod.
Yes, in the dust fields, yeah. Yeah, beautiful.
The bird skull on the belt as well, I love.
Yeah. Where'd you get that from? Is that from the Skulls box?
Yes,
yeah, I've got one right here on my desk somewhere.
Ben has started doing some White Skulls. He's got his Zolmon Khan finished. I think Zolmon Khan, is he still a character or is he a legend? I think he might be a legend now, Zolmon Khan. Zolmon Khan is like a big, tanky Terran White Scar. Yeah, unique special character. So he's got a few things done there. So made that out of the Sons of Horus Praetor. And then just a lot of units done. Doing some Dark Sons of Death, which I'd also like to do at some point. That's the White Scar's Special Destroyers, who paint themselves red, and was wondering what colour to do the bases. Is not sure about base colours yet. Any suggestions?
I feel with white that you can kind of get away with almost anything. Since you've got a big red unit in your army, I think maybe a muted gray with some little dusty spots and maybe some patches of grass would probably be a good call.
Yeah. I think if you go for something too warm, then the red unit will look like it fits a lot more than everyone else. Yeah. Yeah.
And white will work well with a cold color scheme as well.
Yeah.
Especially since they'll have red accents that'll pop anyway.
Maybe sort of like a lunar style base might look
that
cool.
would work, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Pale grey, I think, because then the white will still pop against the pale grey.
Yeah.
Almost like the I can't remember the name of the character, Solomon, whoever it was. That sort of base colour, I think, could work for the entire army. I think.
Yeah.
Because he looks really good on. Because although it's grey, the white is bright enough that it still stands out on the grey, and then the red would look good against it as well.
Exactly.
Alpha Legion next with Matt has got one completed squad of Alpha Legion Headhunters, and I recognise these immediately. Anvil Industry sniper rifles.
Yeah,
I've got a load of Anvil Industry bits in mine as well because they're just so useful for spares.
Wicked work on the teal color scheme as well. That nice rich deep turquoise. Love it.
Yeah, every Alpha Legion army is a different color. It's brilliant. Moving on, David's Imperial Fists are up next. So David's also no painting this month. Don't blame you. But has because he's moving, but did manage to finish building Kit Bashed Templar Brethren. So these are the Tortuga Bay Mark IV bodies. Now those are the people who make like true scale Marines. Is that right?
They make true scale, but they also make regular GWs kind of scale.
Right.
Wonderful Heresy armor sculpts.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Forge World parts on top and Games Workshop parts to tie them all in.
Yeah, it looks like a really nice blend of all different kits to get like the different sculpted shoulder pads and whatnot. Yeah, it's a really nice mix.
And that chunkiness that everyone wants from their Templar brethren. Yeah. Next up, we saw this last time. Chide has done some more classic pre-reunification salamanders schemes. Some Tempest Gallery salamanders.
It's just perfect.
It's lovely, isn't it?
It's just perfect.
In every way.
I love
the red of the black, the red like hair around the edge of the black is just like, it makes the black so good.
Yeah,
that's what I noticed as well. That the basing and the sort of highlight color being the same just really ties the model into the base in a way that is it's really nice.
Really nice,
especially with that super matte black as well.
Yeah,
having those little bits of pop. Oh, it's so good.
And just a little red edging on the black is lovely. Yeah,
the black looks almost like charcoal. It's so matte, but with the tiny bits of shine here and there.
So well done, so simple, so well done.
Weird texture, lovely.
Jaffe Paul is doing Blood Angels. I only managed to paint 5 tactical marines. I quite like the odd Mark 7 head in there and Sanguinary Guard sword. But he basically converted loads more. So these are the 5 painted ones in a really dark, gritty. But it's the same as we were saying about the Night Lords, really. Really dark,
Flesh Terror-ish.
Yeah,
almost not, but moving towards like the Flesh Terror color.
Gorgeous work. There's a depth. There's a depth to this, cause like with the highlight work and the weathering that just it makes them pop so well.
And then Novamunda has painted an Imperial Fist Leviathan. Imperial Fist is also another one. We said this last time where the yellows can vary massively. So there's a lovely Leviathan in there, which counts as that's a good summer progress, isn't it? Dave has done his Space Wolf transports. I really like these. I really like these like very pale, flat grey transports are really nice.
Some checker as well.
I like. It's the checkers.
Yeah, no, they're lovely. They're really, really good, these. And then Neil has done some word bearers. So 27 models, 866 points of word bearers done since last month, and a bit of freehand. I like the big banner there. That's quite nice.
I love the banner, and I love anytime you do green plasma with word bearers. It just is such an excellent little color contrast bit. Love it.
Looks so evil. And then
is this our Neil?
Sorry, is this
this our Neil?
Is it our Neil?
Not our Neil, is it? I don't think so.
I don't think it's our Neil.
He's not doing word bearers, is he? You know what I just noticed as well? The herald holding the little shrine there. That's the Necromunda shrine, isn't it?
Oh, the corp.
Or is it?
Yeah, is it?
I can't quite tell. It's been adapted if it is, but I think it might be the Necromunda. You know what I mean? The Necromunda objective / base campy thing. Yeah, not sure though.
Up next, we have Paint Spattered Steve. Sorry, Steve, and his Thousand Sons. This is lots of progress. I very much like the amount of freehand work. Is it freehand work? Is it transfers? Is it a mix of both on that Sikaran?
I think it's both, isn't it?
Yeah, there's like a marbly effect.
The little runes might be from the it's either the Prospero or the Count kit, but they look excellent.
Yeah,
there's Primarch we've seen too. Congrats on that for progress.
Yeah, early doors to get a Primarch in, but yeah, that's brilliant. So everyone's making a lot of progress. Jonathan L has done some Lunar Wolves. What's that, Gary?
Oh, sorry, I was just still looking at the Leviathan.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Leviathan's fantastic.
I was just finishing up looking at the previous one.
Lunar Wolves, Jonathan's Lunar Wolves made a start there with some of the big kits from the set, and actually looks like got a game in, which is quite nice.
Fair play. Love a loyalist moment for the Lunar Wolves.
Yeah, I do like the fact that you can do things like Lunar Wolves. It's a really nice little extra bit.
It's a good tone for the Lunar Wolves.
Now
on the Contemptor, yeah.
Nicola has been doing word bearers. Where are these heads from?
Those are from the Chaos Raptor or Warp Talon kit. I recognize them because I was thinking about using them for the old Alpha Legion army, and now that I see them on a word bearer, I don't want to see them on any other Legion.
No, they look great.
They look so good. They look so good.
I use them a lot for Noise Marines for Emperor's Children. They've got that kind of look as well.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
the
finally,
transfers there for the runes are so good on the legs.
Oh yeah, I
have
didn't
no
miss that.
No idea how someone has that much patience for that many transfers. The result is worth the patience, though, so clearly.
But also the glazing of them, so they sort of look like they're glowing, is quite nice. Because they would have been white transfers, I think.
Yeah, they've definitely been glazed over the top, which really just helps. It ties them in so much more than just the bare transfer.
And then
it does. Someone just said they look like they're glowing, and they do. They look like they're like spooky glowing runes, not just there.
And then finally, number 30 on our list, Nick has just been building all his models and added a little old RTB01 at the front there.
First thing I spotted.
So there we go. Thank you, everybody, for sending in your submissions. We'll do it again in just under a month because we know we're a bit late this time. But it's always good. Hopefully that will certainly keeping me encouraged to actually do something and get a bit further with my guys. Hopefully it will keep us all encouraged and everyone else. But yeah, so there we go. That's another episode. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Oculus, for coming to visit.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hopefully we'll keep us updated on how the Alpha Legion go and how they fare when you start playing some games with them.
Absolutely will do. Should be getting some in this autumn. Like, the painting has been held back by Ontario's god-awful summer humidity, but now that it's fall, we're getting there. I'll be getting there.
Well, we're almost there. I will. I'm going to get airbrushing next on mine. But otherwise, what's the hashtag we're using for this? Tale of 4 Heresy Gamers on various social media. And I will remember to use it this time because I've got some stuff to show, which is nice. And then we'll see everyone in a month's time. Thanks, everybody. Lovely to see you all. See you all next time.
Cheers. See you soon. Cheers, Oculus.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.